And please know that we've been working hard. What I want to do is turn it over to Tom so he can explain to you where we're at and where we're going.
Thanks, Jean. It is really great to see everybody, and it has been a while. It's been a while since I've been fully engaged in all of this. I've had some challenging health issues for the last little bit, but I'm glad to report that I am well on the way to recovery, and I'm rearing to go and ready to fight. And I'm just so happy to be with you all. I can't even tell you. Well, I also want to offer my regards to Timothy Carden, who has stepped up into a leadership role in a just completely remarkable way. He's a dear friend, he's a dear colleague, and his wisdom and his energy and his hard work ethic has been astounding to me. So Timothy, I salute you. Really want to express my gratitude to you, and I think on behalf of everybody here. Senator, why don't we ask you to say a few words to our team?
Well, thank you. Good morning. I have somebody here trying to fix my camera, so I'll be on momentarily. I just want to say good morning. We are in June, right? Headed to end of a new budget season, and to see so many vibrant faces on the camera is absolutely amazing. The Family Success Institute and all of you, when I was an assemblywoman, I was honored to be able to be a sponsor on the bill. And then when I came over to the Senate, I'm like, yes, I can do this again over here with a little more, a little more oomph. And I look forward to working with all of you and ones who are seen and ones who are not seen, so that we can make this a reality for so many families. So I'm honored to be here with all of you today, and thank you so much for allowing me to grace you. And I will be on camera momentarily.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Such a privilege for you to be with us. So we have I was
Tom, I just can't. I have to interrupt, because the person who has championed this from day one and is now on his third or fourth year joined us right on time, and I think you need to give a full-throated description of how much we've depended on our Reverend and Assemblyman Champion.
Oh, I didn't see that the Reverend had joined us.
I didn't see him neither. How you doing, Assemblyman Reverend Atkins?
Grace and peace.
There he is.
Yes, he is an amazing advocate, and I am championing this with him, and he's been doing this for years and years and years. So we have to give kudos to where kudos belongs to. And Reverend Assemblyman Atkins, I salute you, and I thank you for allowing me to charge this with you.
Awesome.
Assemblymen, welcome. Greetings. And I'll let you do your own speaking, because I know you will anyway, but I on behalf of all of us, we have so much gratitude and are so inspired by your words and your actions and the energy that you put into this, and you are our true champion. So please let us hear your words.
Oh, thank you so very much. Grace and peace, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm so excited to be on here with a champion in the assembly. I miss her so much, but she's over in the Senate, and she has been a graceful, classy partner of mine as it pertains to this bill and other legislation. But she's been in the forefront of making things happen, not only for the family, but for our state. And I appreciate it. Tom, I can't thank you enough for allowing me to champion this, but it's my honor to literally to stand before you. And as we push forward with this essential piece of legislation, the Family Success Bill, everybody know that it's not just a policy. It's a promise to our communities, to our families, and to our future. And I'm proud to say that we have strong allies to help us fight. Not only do we have the Black Caucus, but we also have the Hispanic Caucus that's coming alongside of us. This journey began last year when we secured a little, I believe it was about $4 million for this cause. It was a significant first step, but it was only the beginning. It was only the beginning because this year we're aiming higher. We're proud to push for about $25 million to ensure that our families get what they need in order to be successful. Now, that's going to be minus the 4 million, but our goal is clear, our mission is urgent, and the time is now. Senator Gopal introduced the bill over on the Senate side. Senator McKnight came alongside of him, alongside of us, and I have the privilege of introducing it over on the Assembly side, and together we have worked tirelessly to get this coalition all the support that it needs. We've talked to the governor, we've talked to the Speaker of the House, we've talked to our predecessors over on the Assembly side, and I can tell you that everybody's excited about it. I want to take a moment just to acknowledge Tim. He has been a true champion in our efforts. His unwavering support, his advocacy when phone calls need to be made, he's on it. And he's been very instrumental. So, Tim, I just want to thank you for your dedication to this cause as well. We're not just in this alone. And that's the important part of all this. Listen, we're not in it alone. And as we move forward towards the finish line, it's become evident that we have everything that we need in order to be successful. Our message today is very simple. We need your help. The time is now. We must come together, rally all of our resources, and we must push this forward and get it through the finish line. Listen, we're making investments in the state of New Jersey across the board. The best investment we can make is in the family. And I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to have your support to move this forward. So thank you very, very much for the opportunity to speak. And I look forward to holding all our hands up, our families' hands up in success when the time comes. Thank you very much.
Oh, my Lord.
Wow, wow.
Tom, can I just interject here
Gonna be
to
fast.
everyone? Many of you know this, but all of you need to know this. The two legislators on our call and on this meeting, without any instigation or request from anyone in this group or the Family Success Institute, sponsored this bill and the companion Children's Bill of Rights for Children and Families 2 years ago, literally on their own as they joined the Assembly or returned to the Assembly. There are 1,000 bills that were not enacted in the previous session and another 1,000 that are being proposed. These individuals identified these two bills out of that universe and put them in on their own as sponsors. It is just one indication, not only of the, I don't call it the wisdom and relevance of creating a level playing field and creating opportunity in this state, but of their commitment to doing that. And Assemblyman Atkins made some very generous comments about my engagement. Where we are today is a function of his determination, his steadfast dedication to this task, and that universe of support within the halls of power is entirely a function of the energy he has put into this. So when he says it's up to us now, it is our moment to support him and our mission in this effort. And to that end, I have just put in the chat a letter of support for this legislation that any of you can copy and paste into an email and send it to the Assemblyman so he knows he's got it. Send it to Senator McKnight. If her name is not on there, I'll make sure we add it. And send it to the Senate leadership, which is there, the Assembly leadership, which is there. And if you are really adept, there is a number you can text this message to the governor. They need to hear us now. Assemblyman Atkins, Senator McKnight are doing the hard work of getting it through the legislative process. But we have a responsibility now and going forward to demonstrate to all those leaders how important this transformational bill and what work we will do as a result of it comes forward. So there you have it.
Thank you, Tim. And while we have our esteemed legislators here, does anybody have any thoughts or questions for them? These are usually not a silent group.
Ms. McKnight and Mr. Atkins, Dominique Lee, Brick Education in Newark, New Jersey. Ms. McKnight, I actually just saw you at the Jersey City Hospital event. So nice seeing you on person, Zoom again. I know you guys said that any help that you have from us would be helpful in getting this passed, but could you give us any concrete things that you think we should do to support you guys in getting this through the legislature?
Yeah, so Tim just said it, you got to reach out to our fellow senators and assembly members. So we have to get it passed, through the committees, and then we need 21 votes on the Senate side, and we need 41 votes on the Assembly side. Then we need the governor. So reaching out to all of the legislature is amazing. That's what we have to do. So you have the tool. It's just in this chat. So start sending out emails, and also you can call the offices, because when we receive calls, our teams let us know that you receive 500 calls on Bill XYZ. You clog about emails because you want us to listen. So those are some tangible things that you can definitely do to help move this legislation forward, these legislation forward.
Thanks. Anybody else have questions or comments? Well, I can't tell you how much we appreciate your being here, and your words are so inspiring, and now we have to take action to support your words. And that's really what where we are with this family success movement. It's really interesting. So as I was because it has been a while since we've been together, but I was thinking back, and it's almost 20 years now, Gene Warnock and Charlie Venti, that when we were sitting with then a brand new mayor in Newark, and was talking about all the issues in Newark and everything, and the term family success was coined in that process. And here we are 20 years later, and I believe that the family success movement is really at an inflection point. And in addition to the legislation, which is crucial, and the idea that if this legislation goes through, family success will not be a movement from the outside, but it will become the law of the land with some money behind it to expand the efforts. It's just astounding that we are on the brink of success of family success. And then at the same time, we also have the community action forums, which we originally thought were going to be 12 community action forums over the course of a year that would give people living throughout the state and different communities voices in terms of all this. We've now had 30 community action forums around the state, and we're gearing up for a summit later in the year that would bring together all the people who hadn't really had a chance to have a voice, with all the people who are in a position of power. So this is a really, really important year. And the only way that we're going to succeed, as the senator said and the assemblyman said, is it's time for us all to pitch in. Now is the time to walk the walk. We've been talking the talk for a while, but getting those letters in, and when we've heard not only from The Senate side, from the Assembly side, the more voices that people hear and the more active we are in terms of supporting all this, the better the chance we have of succeeding. So here we are, and Senator, please.
Yeah, can I add something to that? So it's not just you who are on the phone, who are on this Zoom, right? It's also the people who you know. So go into your cell phone, tag 10 people and ask them, send this email to them and ask them to also send the email, right? There's power in numbers. Have them, give them all the numbers, have them make telephone calls. So yes, we are all in sync here, but we need those people who really don't even understand what we're doing, right? We need them to understand the importance of the family success centers and why we need them and why we need this money. So look in your cell phone. I know you know people, and just let them know, look, we need you. I need you right now, or, so that we can have the money, the funding, we can have this legislation approved. You are now subject matter experts on these pieces of legislation. Now you just have to spill it over, so that, don't keep this as a secret. Spill it over to others so that they can also help. Power in numbers.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Assemblyman, any final thoughts for us?
Now is the time, and we're going to get it done. We have the right support behind us. Everything is lined up appropriately, and with your push, we're going to get this done. I'm excited because this is a win-win, not only for our state, but it drills down into our families, which is so important.
Mm-hmm.
The state of New Jersey, we talk about it being an opportunity state. But what opportunity we have without the family? So this is putting all the resources we need in the right place to be successful. And with your help and with the good senator's help, we're going to get this done. Thank you.
Hear, hear.
Terrific. Thank you so much. So moving right along, one of the things that we have talked about a lot is the concept of shared leadership. And as both the senator and the assemblyman have said, that the more people who are involved in this and who are expressing their voices about this, the greater the chance for success. So one of the things that we have done recently is we have asked a number of leaders from the learning community to step forward and form a steering committee for us, so that we are in fact sharing our leadership. And it's really exciting to me and to Mr. Cardin that Kathy Rowe and Dominique have stepped forward to be the conveners of the steering committee. And so it's my pleasure to turn the agenda over to these two erstwhile leaders, Kathy and Dominique.
You're on mute, Kathy. There we go.
Thanks so much, Tom. One of the things that I've always believed is that we're more powerful when we work together and we share the incredible talents that we have in this learning community. Nobody can do this alone, and it was really exciting. I'm excited to share co-convening with Dominique Lee, who I've admired for a long time. And we just felt that it was time to start learning more from each other, energizing these meetings, and using our combined talents to push this legislation through. The Learning Community Steering Committee, the purpose of it is to advise and assist with recruitment of new members. As Reverend Atkins was saying, we can't do this alone. And just like for the legislation, we should be reaching out, going through our colleagues, finding people who are like-minded like us and passionate about family success. So we want to increase this learning community. Right now, we have 47 people here. The next meeting, wouldn't it be great if we had 147? And I really believe we can do that. The steering committee is also charged with consulting with the board on important issues like messaging, legislation, and funding, and they all go hand in hand. And lastly, to assist with the development of the agendas for the learning community. We want these meetings to be more interactive. We want to hear from people. We don't want this to be, the family success movement is so different from anything I've been a part of. And we don't want this learning community meeting to be like all the other meetings that we go to on Zoom, where we're kind of sitting and, looking at our email on our laps. We want this to be a meeting where we, excite each other and share and find ways to continue to move what we're doing forward. It is such a pleasure to introduce the Learning Community Steering Committee meeting. And for the sake of time, I'm going to call your name, give us a wave. And I can't tell you how excited I am to be working, Dominique and I, to be working with this talented, passionate, amazing group of folks that have volunteered to do even more than they do now, and to be part of the steering committee and work together. So we have, of course, my co-convener, Dominic Lee. Dominic, do you want to say anything?
No, I'm good. I'm definitely honored to be part of the movement here, and that's pretty much it. So thanks.
So we have Gloria Eftansky. Gloria, you here? Tom Blattner, George Cruz, Deanna Cooper, I see you there. Carolyn McCombs, Rose Zeltzer, Anita Vogt, Kathy Collins, David Spector.
Hi, Kathy.
Hey, Bob Garassi. I know Bob's not able to be here today. Julianne Cherry from the United Way.
Good morning.
Good morning. Jackie Edwards from Parents Inc., near and dear to my heart. Lorenza Azario, who could not be here, one of the co-conveners of an at the FSO in Monmouth County. Sinida Anthony, also not able to be with us today. Reverend Almeda Johnson, who is from Cumberland County. Jean Warnock, Charlie Venti, and Erica Harris. Thank you so much for joining us. We're excited. We're going to be meeting monthly. And if anybody else is interested in joining this incredible group and becoming a steering committee member, both Dominique and I will put our emails in the chat and just reach out, and we'll make sure that you get the notice for the July meeting. We've also asked a couple of our steering committee members to talk about why they joined, and maybe that will inspire you as well to think about, jumping on the steering committee. Gloria? Is Gloria here?
I think Gloria had some problems with her internet.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I've sent her the link twice and she hasn't been able to get on.
Oh, dear. All right, well then how about if we jump to David Spector, the board chair for CPAC in Camden.
Thanks, Kathy, and good morning, everybody. Appreciate the opportunity to serve on this great committee and to really try to tackle such a big issue happening across the state, especially here in Camden County. And what the senator and assemblyman said, and so many others on our leadership team here, how it's really pivotal to get behind this issue and, get our local officials involved at the local level. And also here in Camden County, we've been really able to get our commissioners involved as well. Commissioner Betteridge is aware of this issue and supports this. And, we want more of that here in Camden County and across the state. And we have support in the legislature as well here in the 5th District, 6th District, and the 7th District. So South Jersey's behind this issue, and I'm just happy to have a small part in it. And whatever we can do to keep bringing key stakeholders and our elected leaders to the table to get this across the finish line, that's what we're here for. So thanks for having me, and thanks for bringing me on the committee.
Great. Thanks so much, Dave. Deanna Cooper, you're not a stranger to the learning community or the steering committee. How about sharing why you joined?
Why I joined? Why wouldn't I join? I've been around for quite a bit of time, and I go all the way back. What is it, Tom? 11, 12, 13, 14 years when we first started doing the whole family success movement and working with the community. Even though I retired from CPAC, the community still looks at me like, you got us involved in this. We want to take it across the finish line. And that's just exactly what I'm doing. And I love what the senator said and the assemblyman. I'm going on my phone after this, and I'm going to tell 10 people to send it to 10 people and 10 more people until we get this across the finish line.
Oh, thank you so much, Deanna. And last but certainly not least, how about Rose Zeltzer? You're muted, Rose. Still muted.
She has to hit the unmute button down the bottom of the screen.
Down at the bottom of the screen, Rose, you'll see when you
Should
scroll
be in
down.
your left-hand corner. It should be a microphone, and you click on that microphone.
But she's on her phone, so it may be have a different.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it might be in a different location.
Oh,
I got it. Takes me
There you
longer to
go.
do things. It takes me longer to do things, but I finally get there. My commitment and my advocacy to this movement is really based in my long-term commitment to working for children and families. And I've been in every part of the system working on behalf of families. And this is very exciting. And I think it is much further along than I ever imagined it could be. And I believe strongly that, and I've seen it just in my work, but also my personal family situations, that when you help families from the ground up and you give them the support they need at the beginning, it just reduces the stress and helps those kids all along. So I am proud to be part of this group. And I feel strongly that, and I have to say this, Tom, I had some doubts, but for the first time, I think this is really achievable. I really do think we can get this going. And I have to say that, I read again the information that was sent, and the article or the attachment that really explained the legislature and how it was going to be rolled out was very, very helpful to reread. So I think we can do this. I really do. So I'm really happy that we are here.
Rose, let me just interject for a sec, because we've known each other a long time.
Yeah.
Don't ever let go of your doubt. This is what's going to get us. What's going to motivate us is doubt, because we have a long way to go, and we're certainly not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but I think we all believe this is the right way to go. So your involvement all these years, but particularly now, and is really important. So thank you.
And Kathy, Gloria has made it onto the Zoom. And so
Yay,
you can
Gloria.
ask for.
Gloria, are you there? Gloria is the CEO, President and CEO of the United Way of Central Jersey, and certainly has a wealth of information and talent. Gloria?
Sure. So one of the things that I've been asked to address, and I apologize if the topic has already been introduced, but it's incumbent upon each of us to outreach to our elected officials in Trenton. Tim drafted the email to go to the legislative sponsors. And I think that it would be important for each of us to outreach directly to both the sponsors and the and our local representatives. And then I would respectfully like to suggest that for the sponsors, that we send a group letter from all of us who are part of the learning community. And I added up the names yesterday. There are 155 names on the email distribution list. Some of them are duplicates. Some of them are no longer active. But I did share with Gina an email, I mean, a letter that went to some elected officials in Washington in support of $45 million for the volunteer income tax assistance program expansion during the 24-25 federal budget. And Gina, could you just call that up on the screen share? Please. I wanted everyone to see what it looks like. And what we have is the letter to the
Okay. Gloria, someone needs to give me permission to share my screen. The host needs to give me permission.
Oh, okay,
Tim, if
that's
you
not
make-
me.
Tim, if you make Gina
I got it. I got it. Okay.
So the letter went to the Committee on Appropriations. And it was
This
signed,
is the regular one. Mhm. Okay.
oh, that's the
Yes.
Tim's letter.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that I sent
Yes.
later in the
Here we
evening
go.
is this
Here
one.
it is.
So this is the letter that went. It was a short letter, but Gina, if you scroll down to the second page,
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble here.
okay. So if you, when we get to the second page, you'll see the national organizations that signed on to the letter.
You just got to say your on there. It's you because it says my name.
And then if you continue scrolling, then it's all the state associations and all of the local United Ways, you know, by state. So it's quite a long list and quite impactful. And I would suggest that the letter that goes to the sponsors include all of us that are part of the learning community.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy to coordinate it. If everyone would just reply to Lori as to whether or not you're willing to have your name and your organization on the list.
Fabulous, Gloria.
Great idea.
Gloria, we'll get this copy over for distribution too to members. Because I'm not sure I know how to put all this in the chat.
Okay. Well, you know more than I.
Thanks.
So we will get a note out asking for all those on our distribution list to respond with an affirmation that their name and organization can be listed on that letter, and we'll get a letter out.
Tim, do you want them to send that to you?
No, that'd be fine. If it would come to you, I'm happy either way. Let's get it. Let's have it come to you, Gina, and you and I'll coordinate.
So Gina, you'll put your email in the chat so that people can contact you. Gina. Okay. Gina will put her name in the chat. Everybody,
I'll do it.
please
Yep.
let her know. Tim, did you want to continue with your legislative update?
I think we've covered the thing with the benefit of Senator McKnight and Assemblyman Atkins. I think our legislative update has been largely covered. For those who may not know the detail, the one other piece of this is You know about the bill, you know its long history, and we have pursued modest appropriations. We pursued significant appropriation. And at the moment, we are looking for two pieces of funding. One that would be a carryover from fiscal year 2024 in the amount of $4 million, which was put in the budget last year. And then for this year, we requested an additional $8 million out of this budget. We may get more. I heard Assemblyman Atkins suggest an even larger figure. If we're successful, we have absolute certainty that there is mechanisms and a process that can appropriately organize and distribute those funds. They're still very modest amongst 21 counties across the state, with the purpose of either expanding existing family success initiatives or helping to establish and build and grow local family success councils and local family success service networks, all of which will benefit from this. And it is the principles within the bill as they are demonstrated by these very modest expansion or initiation of program. It is those principles that will make a big difference. And I don't know if that really summarizes where the legislation stands and what our responsibilities, those of us here today, have to ensure that the degree of support that they enjoy and their importance to the future of the state is made clear to every legislator and to the governor's staff, as well as the governor himself. And I think in the midst of all this, we're excited and pleased that once again, the commissioner of DCF, who's obviously going to have a central role in rolling out how funding and support for family success is achieved, has joined us again today. So I think it's also important to hear from Christine, and thank you again for being here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just here to listen and lend support. That's it. Good morning. Sorry I'm late.
You're welcome at any time and however you can fit us into your schedule. So that's Kathy, that's my summary of where the legislation stands. We are open to questions. You all should have my email. I can put it in the chat as well, or speak out now, or just circulate questions as to how you can find out who your legislator is, or legislators. There are three. We each are represented by 3, 2 Assembly and 1 Senate member. And it's not difficult for us to share that information with you if you have difficulty identifying it yourself. I think it is notable that Senator McKnight urged us all to use the phone as well as email because it is impactful in the legislative process. So do that as well.
Thank you, Tim. I just like to add my kudos to all the work, the hard work and passion that you have put forward, pushing this, doing everything that you can to push this bill and this legislation forward. Does anybody have any questions for Tim about the legislation before we move on to the next part of our agenda?
I do.
Kathy.
In preparing to be persuasive, and those of you who have been involved with this for longer, are there specific objections to this, or more a lack of knowledge of what it could be and how powerful it could be?
I love that question. No one who has, in my fairly extensive outreach, listened to the principles of family success does anything but nod their head. Mm-hmm. And that's not a eye-opening statement, because it is the positive view of what the role of government and community can be. In other words, that our government is our community, and it is, if we listen to ourselves, meaning our communities, and identify the barriers to success, the aspirations that families have, and then align those with the resources that may be available today that we may have to pursue and find tomorrow, we are on a path that redirects government's energies towards a positive outcome that begins at the ground up, meaning within the community and within the families within those communities, and percolates up. And not only is there wisdom and insight that reflects, but in addition, this offers all of us the opportunity to invest sweat equity in the well-being of our communities and families. And again, government has a critical and important role, but it cannot replace the intimacy, the understanding, and the benefit that individuals committed to their community and believing that they are in common purpose with one another can bring to solving really challenging problems, starting with identifying what's the biggest priority. Next, how do we tackle it? And if we can't tackle it today, how do we get to it tomorrow? Because no, money is not an infinite resource. It is defined, but we have an opportunity here. So long-winded answer, no one objects to the principle. It is the magnitude of change that this represents in the long run that leaves people uncertain or uncertain as to how it's going to happen. And to me, the answer to that is we're not doing this in a year. We are, this is a change in direction that requires time, but if we commit ourselves as individuals, as community, and ultimately as our state and then federal government to this purpose, we will achieve a fundamental change.
Kathy, I have
Kathy,
one- I have
also,
one,
can I, Tom?
Jean?
Can I? Yeah. I also want to thank Tim. It feels like it's been forever that we've lived with this vision, and it feels like forever that I've known you. And you've really done a tremendous job in taking this to where it's going now, and hopefully over the, that we really make it. I'm very proud to be a part of this with you.
You are a point of origin that none of us forget.
Tom?
I just want to make one, and a lot of people think this is about family success centers. And the family success centers are, incredibly important and grew out of this movement. But our vision is that all services and all, community members and everybody are going to be coming together, both public and private and government and, service organizations and faith-based organizations. So the family success idea goes way beyond family success centers, of which they are crucial catalysts. So I think, a lot of people think this means more only family success centers, but it really means what do people in the community articulate as what their needs are to be successful in raising their kids. So, and so that brings to this term family success networks. And usually at the beginning of a meeting, I welcome certain people who haven't been here or who need to. So I'm going to just take 2 seconds to do that now, because there are a number of people from Monmouth Axe who were on our call, and Monmouth Axe is the epitome of what a family success network can look like and what it can accomplish. And Peter Boynton, who is the Director of Human Services for Monmouth County and the co-chair of Monmouth Axe, is here along with Kathy Collins. And I saw Desiree's smiling face. So we're hopeful that in the next learning community meeting or so that we're going to get a really exciting presentation from the Monmouth Axe folks about the amazing work you're doing there. But Peter, I wanted to welcome you to our midst, and you are a quiet voice of progress. If I don't know if you want to say anything today, but we'll give you the chance anytime you want it.
Thank you so much. I've been just kind of soaking in everything that everyone is saying. It's very refreshing when you're able to join a group like this and see that you're not fighting alone. We know that change is incremental, so I don't expect things to happen overnight, but I'm very excited about the groundwork and the foundation that you've established. I'm really excited to share some of the great things that we've done in Monmouth County. While those of you who are leaders know, you tend to get all the accolades when you sit in the chair. The fact of the matter is we have a really good team of individuals who put work in and day out, both in the nonprofit space and in the government space, in order to make all of the things that we do happen. So I do want to encourage you, if you do have any thoughts or questions, please feel free to share them. And I guess we'll do our presentation whenever Tom creates some space for us.
Peter.
Peter, great to see you. Sorry, Kathy.
Peter, this is Kathy Rowe. I just wanted to share, I was down in Monmouth doing a community action forum. And just as an example of the great work that you guys do, the parents were talking about, you know, what were the real challenges facing them. And one of them said, you know what, Monmouth Acts started a program that we can get up to 2 rides somewhere every month. And they were all like, you know what that means? We don't have to like show how much we make, or we don't have to say why we have to get there. It's transportation is so hard for so many people. And talk about family success. I mean, I was just amazed by that and just so thankful that organizations like yours are doing this.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I also want to jump on real quick and ask Dave Spector to come back on and introduce. I mean, he was one of the steering committee members that reached out to his local folks to support family success. And Dave, would you like to introduce the commissioner?
Yes, thank you so much. Well, good morning again, and we have the privilege and honor of having Commissioner Ginny Bedridge from Camden County join us this morning. Ginny is a longtime mentor, colleague, and friend, especially liaison of CPAC here in Camden County. Does so much for our youth, for human services, for our mental health in Camden County, and it's just an honor to have her on the call today. So just like to turn it over to Commissioner Bedridge to say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. So I am not C. Avellino. That's what is showing up under my name. Carla Avellino is someone that you do want to get to know because she is my confidential aide. It's a privilege to be here. I guess about a year ago, a little over a year, I had some conversations with Tom and Anita from CPAC, and I'm learning about the goals of the Family Success Project. And it's really heartwarming to hear the initiatives that we are trying to get together as a team or as a group to make sure that some of our most vulnerable are being paid attention to. So I commend all of you for your time and your energy. Camden County is definitely interested to see the path that this group takes with the legislation that is currently being proposed. I certainly would love to learn more about it. And as your not your team, but your project grows, definitely keep me posted, because I know that Camden County, I guess well over a decade ago, was one of the leaders in promoting and securing some of the information that we currently have here in Camden County. And I think Sister Donna was one of the people that led the charge here in Camden County, and she's still with the Camden County Department of Health and Human Services. So I'm here to be a friend, right, to see how we can move forward. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to say a few words. Thank you, David.
Thanks, Commissioner.
And thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you again for joining us, Commissioner. We really appreciate that. We're now going to move to the next section of our agenda today, which is our community action forums and discussion about the upcoming summit. And it's really a privilege for me to introduce Erica Harris-DeVolve to take us on that journey. Erica?
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Kathy. Hi, I'm Erica. I am the Director of Strategic Initiatives for the Family Success Institute, and the primary part of my role has been organizing and managing the Community Action Forum initiative. So for those of you who don't know, I think a lot of people on this call honestly have been a part of the Community Action Forum initiative or have supported or partnered with us in some way. But if you don't know what that is, it's a statewide initiative that really provides opportunities to engage with local communities across the state of New Jersey in discussions that really prioritize giving community members a chance to talk about, identify, and share their observations of what's going on in their communities, their needs and the problems, as well as their dreams and aspirations for themselves, their families, and their communities. To date, we've had, as Tom mentioned earlier, 30 community action forums. We currently have 4 that are scheduled for this month and next. So, you know, the initiative is continuing. We want to do as many as possible. And we're really just continuing to schedule on this rolling basis as we find folks to partner with, or even we've done some multiple community action forums in one community because there's just, you know, that much interest, which is really amazing. I'm gonna read this list so I make sure I get it right. I just wanted to share the counties that we've been in so far. So we've been in Mercer, Camden, Middlesex, Monmouth, Essex, Cumberland, Passaic, Burlington, Atlantic, Warren, Hunterdon, and Salem. And we're looking to do them everywhere. So this is just another, my entire talk is going to be filled with invitations and calls for folks if you are interested in hosting, or if you know of an organization that might be interested in hosting, especially in a county that I didn't list. I would be so glad to connect with you. After this, I'll leave my email in the chat, and I'd love to connect about partnering on a community action forum. Something else I'd like to share is just that we've been able to host these forums, not only in a lot of different places, but also with a lot of different communities. So we've had a few forums with youth that have been really amazing. Parents that are specifically involved with child behavioral health, immigrant families, unhoused community members, fathers and grandfathers, new mothers, veterans. A lot of, you know, different communities that we have here in New Jersey have taken part in these forums and really been able to have conversations that are specific to their experiences. And I think that that's been something that's really special. Part of how we've shaped out the Community Action Forum initiative has been so that it can mold to whatever context that it's in. So it's really not about, you know, FSI as this entity going into a community and asking them to talk about certain things. Rather, we really aim for it to be community-led, led by familiar and trusted faces. And we really aim for the conversation to be about what is relevant and prevalent in the community at that time. And so we've seen really amazing conversations and connections happen from that. I've really had the pleasure of partnering with organizations, many of whom have representatives on this call. And so I also just want to thank everybody who has made this possible, who has partnered with us to bring the community action forums to your communities. All of the forums are leading up to what we're calling the statewide summit, which I think you've also heard referenced here today. We're aiming for a late fall date for the statewide summit. And what the summit will do is really strategically connect the voices from the community to decision makers and those in power in the state and local communities as well. Through the community action forums, we have heard a number of reflections, not only on the problems that folks are experiencing in their communities, but also on their dreams, imaginations, and aspirations for their communities, for themselves. And I guess I just wanted to share that I think that that's probably the most important part of the most important exercise in this initiative. In my experience, it's kind of rare for folks in certain circumstances or in under-resourced or marginalized communities to feel as though it's worthwhile to engage their imaginations. And so my goal in this has really been to make sure that that exercise is worthwhile, that we're honoring the effort and the time that these community members are putting into showing up to these forums and sharing really, really authentically. And so, you know, we've already seen some meaningful change in the way that these forums have really built up community and established connection within cities and towns across the state. And I think my goal with the statewide summit is to really continue with that momentum in connecting the specific observations that people have presented with people who can actually address those things. And we've seen things, you know, presented on a really big level, right? Housing comes up in every single community action forum, affordable housing and access to housing and all of the problems that come with housing. That comes up in every single forum. And then we also have things that are very specific to a town or even a neighborhood within a town. For example, in our Brick Education Forum, someone brought up that, you know, their particular neighborhood in Newark does not have enough streetlights. Similarly, actually, in I believe this was in Asbury Park, one of the youth forums that we had, a kid was talking about how they're late to school every day and they're starting to get in trouble with that. It's becoming somewhat of like a truancy issue, but they're late because they have to be to school really early, and in the winter, it's really dark in the morning and they're scared to walk to school in the dark. So they wait until it gets light out and then they go to school. And so things like that are really addressable. It's helpful to have those things come up in these conversations and then to work towards, you know, connecting these community members with people who can do something about that. And that's really the goal of the community action forums and the statewide summit. Following the meeting, I'll circulate an email with a compilation video of, you know, some of the community action forums we've hosted, just to give you all an idea of some of the conversations that have been happening. As well as that email will include our convener toolkit. And the convener toolkit just has a number of resources, like informational resources, if you are interested in hosting a community action forum in the future. And I'll have my contact information as well. I also wanted to ask for Deanna Cooper Vanderlip to share her experience with the community action forums. Deanna has been such a gift to this initiative and to me as I'm organizing everything, just in terms of being supportive in general, but also really stepping up to facilitate a number of forums where, like I said before, we really aim for the forums to be led by local, known, familiar faces. But the reality is not every organization we partner with has, you know, the staff or the resources to, you know, lend a facilitator to an hour and a half, you know, conversation. And so that's where people like Deanna have stepped in, Kathy as well, to really come in and help facilitate these conversations. So yeah, I wanted to see, Deanna, if you would just be willing to talk a bit about your experiences and observations in engaging in the community action forums.
Good morning, and sure, Erica, thank you. And hello to Commissioner Betteridge. I am just so pleased. Would start ringing now. To, you know, work with Erica and everyone and go to the different communities. And Erica, you actually covered it when you said housing comes up all the time. Transportation is another major issue. And Kathy, I was really glad to hear when you were saying about Monmouth X actually provides rides. And I've had the opportunity to go to, I think it was Bridgeton. I'm not sure. Is that Salem County or Cumberland? Salem? Okay. It's rural. It was just interesting going there. It's almost in Delaware, truly. That's how far south it was. And what I, you know, found out, and even just riding to get there, while I was there for that hour and a half, the people who were there were families. And this time I got to do it. I told Erica I didn't know the children were going to be there too, but they participated. I just switched up and talked to all of them, the entire family. So it was really great. But there were people coming in constantly just to use the copy machine, things of that nature, because they have to go so far. And not just there, but then in Atlantic County, when I went down, it was another. Everybody is saying, and this is even credit to the Family Success Centers, because they were both Family Success Centers, that the people there, being able to have a place to come, being able to just communicate and share things and find resources was such a great benefit to them. And when I had the opportunity to do a group with fathers, I thought that was so touching. It was, and like you said, people are their authentic selves. And I had young fathers, older fathers, you know, and it was interesting that fathers were talking about the lack of mentors and male role models. And then they were talking about how some of them have had relationships, previously when they were younger. And they talked about how the children in those two different families that they now have some have suffered. They're better fathers now to the second set of children than the first set of children, and things of that nature. And I thought it was really interesting how they opened up and shared. And I've had people who even stayed afterwards and gave one-on-one interviews. And even though I had some people who didn't want to be on camera, they gave an interview afterwards, just a voiceover, interview. And some were for reasons of domestic violence and other things that they just did not want to be videotaped. And I totally understood. And I have the tendency to meet people where they are. And guess what? They want to be involved. So I'm going to reach out to some of them. I've been sending Erica their numbers. They're willing to go to legislators and to speak out. Some of them are very vocal. Some of them are more vocal than I thought they would be. But it's been a great experience. And Erica knows all she has to do is give me a call. And if I'm available, I'm right there. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Deanna.
Thank you, Deanna. Yeah, so that's just a brief update on the Community Action Forum initiative. I'll just reiterate, if you're interested in learning more and potentially partnering with us, please reach out to me. I'll drop my email in the chat. Also, if you know of an organization that might be a good organization to partner with for Community Action Forum, I would love to be put in contact with that organization, with a representative from that organization, to continue to grow this initiative and really, continue engaging in these really important conversations. So thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Erica. I think it's also important to say that these community action forums are not focus groups. Our goal is to engage and to bring families in and not just give them a voice, but to have them be part of this process. And that's what makes family success so different, because we're talking about meaningful shared leadership with people that live in the communities. And I have been amazed at how many people have signed up to be family success volunteers after these community action forums. And they are joining now. They are joining the learning community. And that's what we all want. So thank you so much for the hard work you've done, Erica. You and Deanna are amazing. And at this point, I want to turn the meeting over to my co-convener, Dominic Lee, to finish the agenda. Dominic?
No problem. So thank you guys for jumping on. We're going to actually engage in small group conversations. As our senator and our assembly man mentioned earlier today, regarding ways that we potentially can support with the passage of this legislation. We would like to engage in small group conversations as a collective to gather as many thoughts and opinions on the possibilities that we can do as a collective, as individuals, as our organizations, as individuals, as leaders of our organizations. We get all of the great ideas that will come from us as a collective on paper, and then kind of compile those to see if there's some common trends that we can do as an organization. So what we're going to do is break into small group conversations. We're going to send you into breakout rooms in a second. I'll send you no more than 4 or 5 people in each of the rooms. In the rooms, what we are requesting is that you have someone just volunteer and facilitate the conversation. And then 2, someone can volunteer and just take balcony level notes. Not detailed notes, just balcony, bullet points, 1 word, 2 sentences. We will decipher what you are saying from there. We're going to spend about 8 minutes in the rooms. We will give each room a warning and then do like a 2-minute transition back. So a total of 10 minutes in these small groups. I'm going to drop the questions in the chat. So make sure that you copy those or take a screenshot, because I believe they disappear when you go into the breakout rooms. I would try to move around each breakout room to post the questions again, just to ensure that you get it. But once I post it, if everyone can just copy and paste them, take a screenshot real quick, that'd be great. I'll post them right now. All right, and there are 3 questions in the chat right now. So take a quick second to do that. In addition to that, I will go around in each of the rooms to post it again, but to ensure that the conversation kicks off as soon as you get in the room, so you can do that. All right, are there any questions before we go into our groups? Okay, all right, we have 32 people, 6 rooms. All right. Thank you guys for participating in that activity. So we're just going to spend 2 minutes on if anyone has anything that they want to just share out to whole group. Whoever the note taker was, or whoever kind of took notes, if you can just compile what you what you took down and just email that to the Tim and the steering committee, that'd be great. So we don't have to go through each group, but if there's 1 or 2 people who want to share out anything that they would like to just hear put into the whole group conversation, this is the opportunity to do that.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
not going to be
okay.
shy. Since there was silence, I was trying to get this in before we went off. One of the strategies, I said, there's a lot of things coming up, like down the shore, Seaside Heights is this big food truck festival. And then a lot of Juneteenth events and stuff are coming up. I think this is places where you're going to find our everyday, normal, regular people who really could, help push this forward. Take the information, be out there, pass out some flyers. So I think that's a strategy of reaching people we don't normally reach at 8:30 in the morning to come on a Zoom.
Thank you, Ms. Cooper.
Yeah, I'm happy to just share a couple of things. So in terms of actions, getting youth involved in advocating, really, pulling at the heartstrings of the legislators, obviously sending letters, sponsor legislative breakfasts in communities to talk about the initiative and why it's so important. Talk about different ways of empowering families. And then in terms of some strategies, each community identify, who their legislators are, schedule it at a time where they can come, and also potential obstacles. The budget in New Jersey, apparently it's not as good as it used to be because of stimulus money is gone, right? Competing with other entities needing this funding, trying to make them understand that this is an investment in the future. And I think the way to get around that is we have to really have a way of measuring the outcomes here. The other thing is there's a hesitancy to put the money in the hands of local communities, as opposed of a managed body.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. And you bring up a very intriguing point, not to belabor the conversation, but there's an article in The Economist that came in the weekly edition on Saturday. I'm a geek, I still read The Economist. In America, we have reached the 50% of all children are on free or reduced lunch, the highest level that we have seen since they started to track that number. So it's important to get youth involved because they're becoming very pessimistic about our government across the United States. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. As I mentioned, if you have your notes, if you can email it to us, that'd be great. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Kathleen.
You're muted, Kathy.
I know lots of people would like me to be muted, but is there anything else anybody would like to share from their meetings? Briefly, bullets.
I think, Rebecca, do you want to talk?
Yeah, it looks like Rebecca has her hand up.
Sure. Yes, I'm Rebecca Bryan. I'm from the Office of Resilience, which is a part of the New Jersey Department of Children and Families. And our mission is to shift our state to be trauma-informed and healing-centered. And we have a quarterly statewide virtual community meeting that's coming up on June 18th. And I've put the link to the flyer in there. You can register on it. We are bringing people together from all over the state to talk about trauma-informed initiatives. The focus this time is going to be a social norms campaign. We have some modest funding to run one, and we're looking to strengthen relationships between parents and children by addressing screen use and focusing on a concept called serve and return, which is if anybody has babies or grandbabies, you know how babies look at you to get your attention, and then you give it back to them, and it's that back and forth. And it's being missed when parents are on their screens. And so we're looking to community to begin to develop languaging that would resonate and get to feedback on it. I do think that would be a good opportunity if you wanted to connect with or share your resources in the group, because we do have a time when community members can share resources. And so you could promote supporting this legislation in that space as well. Last time we had 100 people and we asked everybody to invite somebody. So we have high hopes that we'll have over 200.
Great. Thanks, Rebecca. Rivas, could you just share a little bit about why you joined us? You know, not so much necessarily about what we talked about in group, but I was just inspired. You're muted.
Hello, everyone. I'm the new bilingual family partners for Warren County FSC. Why I joined. I retired from the New York City Police Department 3.5 years ago. I felt like I needed to do something that can fulfill me, give back to the community. I came here and I fell in love. I love everything that happens here. I love communicating with the people, hearing what they have to say, and I'm looking forward to learning as much as I can and to give back. Hopefully my experience will help. And I can't wait. I have a lot of ideas and I want to bring to the table, and I really can't wait. I'm very, very excited.
Thank you so much. We're really excited to have you. Now I'm going to turn it back to Mr. Blattner.
Well, thank you very much. And before we just get into some final thoughts and any comments people have, I wanted to also recognize Karen Andrade Mims, who has been an incredible voice and actor on behalf of dads. And Karen is, I guess, actually retired now, but Karen, on behalf of everybody, you're not going to retire, first of all, I hope you know that. But I want to thank you so much for everything you've done and for our association, and you were a true gem. And I know you have an announcement you want to make.
I do. Thank you, Tom. Well, first of all, I'm not actually going to retire, although I am retired, but I'm on this call, so I think that speaks volumes. Good. But I just wanted to thank everything that I've heard today has been so inspiring and encouraging. And so, you know, you can't stop. as long as things are moving in a positive direction, you know, I want to be a part of that. But I also want to introduce to the group my successor. His name is Brian Evans. You heard from him a few minutes ago. So you already know that, you know, he's going to be top notch in terms of leading the Father Center of New Jersey into its next iteration. So Brian, I don't know if you'd like to say a few things to the group, but group meet Brian, Brian meet group.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And Karen, you know, goes without saying, she has been a transformative leader. You know, I say all the time, if it hadn't been for Karen, there would be no Father Center of New Jersey. So, you know, kudos to Karen. And she's right. She's not retiring. We won't let her. And so she's got an office here. She's our CEO Emeritus. She's not going anywhere. But it's been a pleasure working, you know, with the Father Center all these years. I started on the board 4 years ago. I was the board president and then transitioned into this role. I'm very excited about this work. I'll look forward to being a champion for this legislation. And so thank you for having me.
You're here, and thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Welcome.
So just a final thought, because I mean, we've heard so much about what we all can do, and you know, this is the time, as I said, that, you know, we all have to walk the walk. But there is an additional factor in all of this, which happened when we started the learning community, and I think everybody's talked about what's happening in society and the loss of, you know, human connection and the isolation that's not only hitting kids, but it's hitting all of us. And what this call in particular, the Zoom particularly, reminds me of is the idea of the learning community was to create community among ourselves. And so that create connections among yourselves between these meetings. I mean, we've had some pretty good meetings, but not a lot of activity between them. And the legislation affords the opportunity for work between meetings, so people can come back and talk about all of our success. And once again, I want to thank Mr. Cardin, because the 20 calls I get a day from him have created connection for me during a time that hasn't been so easy. And same with Kathy Rowe and Jean Warnock and et cetera, et cetera. So thank you all for being here, and let's go out and march. It's time to march. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
See
Now
ya.
is the time, right, Tom? Now's the time.
Now is the time.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See everybody.
ya.